It's so funny. I don't know if you guys can see the time on the kneeboard here.
What time is it? Are we close?
Oh, this is like, yeah.
Oh, 1:39 p.m.
When you no, but when you said that, it was actually 1:37 p.m.
Really?
Literally.
Dude, that is so weird.
What's up, everybody? My name is Matt Mosveen, and you are on air with Radio Chatter. Joining us on the flight deck today, we have Mark Matthews.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Mark is a professional mountain biker who has achieved legendary status on the international biking stage for his riding and trail building videos. Mark is sponsored by Marin, Shimano, and travels the world pushing and growing the sport of riding. Mark, welcome to the show. You see any spots that you'd like to build a couple jumps down here?
Oh man, there's like so much potential. It's endless. It's just so cool being up here looking at this.
We're at 4,000 feet over beautiful Tofino, British Columbia. We're checking out some of the coast of BC and the Pacific Rim National Park, and we'll probably be buzzing around Long Beach and then towards the Broken Islands group here at 4,500 feet. So yeah, Mark, you found an insanely cool niche in content creating, specifically trail building, but you'd also gone pretty early in on the content game as well on Instagram, etc. You got it pretty early. So when you started out in middle and high school, did you ever see yourself creating something that would basically inspire generations of riders across the world?
Not at all. No, like I wanted to ride bikes, but I was also like really intimidated because, I mean, I've always kind of had an entrepreneurial mindset as a kid. Like I've always wanted to own my own business or like work for myself. But I was always like, when you're like a 15-year-old kid, you're kind of confused about what you want in life, not sure what the right thing is. I mean, I always thought it'd be cool to be a pro athlete, but I had no idea where to start, and it didn't seem like a realistic goal. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, this is cool. My parents are really supportive, but if I tell them this is going to be my job, they're not going to think that's
not
real.
They're not going to believe you. Like
they're going to be like, no, that's not what you do. So like, I'm just going to have fun with it, enjoy it, and get as good as I can. And maybe if I get good enough, I can be pro.
Yeah.
That was what I was thinking. I was like, I got to become the best rider in the world. Like if I'm going to do this, otherwise it's not a feasible career. And we had a school project where we had to like write a letter to like a business or the city or municipality, or we had to do some sort of advocacy thing, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna write a letter to the municipality in North Saanich, ask them for a jump park. There's this little park near my elementary school I grew up at, and it would be a perfect place for dirt jumps. And I was like, yeah, we need proper jumps here. And honestly, I thought it was gonna be a letter and nothing was gonna happen, or maybe it would be as simple as, oh, this sweet kid wrote a letter. Let's
build it.
Let's build jumps for him. No, it turned into like, go to a few council
a little more than that.
Go to a few council meetings, and I was like, this sucks. And my dad's like, no, you got to keep going to these meetings, because like if they see you going back there and you get a few friends to come with you, like something's gonna happen. And there was like someone wants to get a zoning for a cabin, or like a cabin built behind their house, and then someone else is complaining about the traffic in town, and I'm this 14-year-old kid being like, build me dirt jumps.
Yeah.
you know, so it's like, it was pretty funny. But then like we ended up going to probably over 20 meetings over like 3 years.
Oh my God, it takes that much work. I mean, like it's a pretty big thing, like to build a whole jumping park. Were they supportive in general, or did it take a lot of work?
Some of the counselors thought it was really cool. Other people were like, what is this? Right? Yeah. But like no one was really negative towards it. They just had concerns. And then when we got more kids and parents involved, so like at some points we had like 20 plus mountain bikers at this like small little town hall meeting. Yeah. And that makes a big impact, right? And at that point, they started to see the value after a few years, and they let us use the 1 hectare square of land right behind the municipal hall. It was like not a very nice piece of land, no dirt, not really usable, but they're like, you can have this. So that kind of gave us a canvas to start with, right?
Right.
And then it wasn't until like 2009, so this was a few years after I graduated high school, that it was like officially open.
Right.
So there was rideable jumps, but they were all like, nothing worked. It was like a random volunteer would come in at the machine for a day, throw some dirt up, then the kids would shape, but they wouldn't let us actually go and work on the jumps ourselves because liability was such a concern.
Oh yeah.
So it became like, it kind of became like, okay, cool, we got the land, there's a bit of dirt there, but this is a waste of time. I'm gonna go into the forest and build my own jumps because it'll take me a few months to build a set of jumps by hand, and this is gonna take years, so I'm not gonna bother with it. But then we have local business owners get involved, more people volunteered, and kind of a movement kind of picked it up, and the more people that helped out, the stronger it became, and that it kind of happened that way where this guy named Dennis Paquette owns the Waterfront Hotel in Sydney.
Okay.
He was like, I'm super keen. He became like, he started a society for the bike park. He became the president for it. He got other local businesses involved and the bike shops involved. He got the Rotary involved. He raised like 30 grand and got stuff built for us.
Wow.
And then in 2009, it opened up officially. And this was like years later. Like, I think we had the idea in like 2002.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's amazing.
Yeah, OG.
Yeah, super OG.
So if we think back over the last decade, you're making videos during your trail riding and trail building. Phones are getting better and like GoPros. So how has technology changed your approach to making videos and content over the years?
I'm thinking back in 2011. So 2011 to early 2012 is right before I got signed on with NSMB.
Yeah.
And they didn't only sign me because of that weekend of riding against other riders. They were also like considering the content people were making.
Right.
And I built this trail over 6 months by myself, and I didn't document any of it. But then I had my friend come in, Aaron LaRock, and he filmed a video for a sponsor. So the only content I got out of an entire video and trail was a 2-minute video.
Right.
Which people still saw the value in that. So they're like, wow, this video did really well. It got a few hundred thousand hits on Pink Bike at the time.
100,000?
No, it got like 200,000+ views, that video.
Whoa.
On Pink Bike. It wasn't even on YouTube, it was on Pink Bike.
That's insane.
And like Pink Bike used to get really viral videos like that because no one was really using YouTube to upload their content, right? They're just going to mount them to Pink Bike.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But I'm thinking like I had probably like an iPhone 4 then or something, you know, like
a little different.
Not the greatest video camera. I was taking like really ghetto photos with it. We had those tools now in the social media now, like it would have been crazy to see what that looked like now, but it's funny, not until last year, honestly, or the year before, did I really have documenting the trail builds on my radar. Just listening to a lot of different podcasts on it, actually, and seeing what other people in our sports are doing. And I was like, wow, I need to change my mindset from like creating this epic end piece to just documenting everything.
Wow.
Like creating is all about documenting, not creating. Right?
That's right.
Like, it's not like you're putting out one video a year or even a month or a week. Like a week's a lot, but I mean, it's all about like, if you're just literally recording your life and putting it out, like documenting the process, putting it out there, like people are going to show interest in that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, it's not really about being the best.
The Gary Vaynerchuk approach.
Yeah, yeah, like I've listened to a lot of GaryVee stuff actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually messaged GaryVee about a year after listening to his stuff.
No
I'm
kidding.
like, man, your content has like changed my mindset in my sport. And he actually got back to me.
Did he really?
He was like, man, that's so cool to hear. And then he's like, I'm going to get you in touch with my agency 137 PM, which is an agency for sports, where it's like entrepreneurial athletes.
Really?
And then someone from 137 PM started emailing me, and they actually featured me on their account a few times, like showing my riding. I was like, whoa,
shit.
Small world, full circle.
It's so funny. I don't know if you guys can see the time on the kneeboard here.
What time is it? Are we close?
Oh, this is like, yeah.
Oh, 1:39 PM.
But when you said that, it was actually 1:37 PM.
Really?
Literally.
Dude, that is so weird.
That's hilarious timing.
That's so weird.
So when we think of a lot of successful people, we often miss that like the early setbacks that they face. And of course, 2013, you hit G's epic gap at RedBull Rampage.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a deceiving jump. I had to look at it compared to where like the landing zone actually is from where you take off out of it.
Yeah.
So for the viewers, just to give some context, Mark sustained a broken femur from the jump, and looking back at where you've taken riding since 2013, how did RedBull Rampage maybe change your relationship with riding?
Yeah, that's awesome. I was like on cloud 9 when I got invited to that event.
Yeah.
Because 2012 was my first year getting free bikes and a bit of budget. 2000 year was my second season doing that, but I was getting recognized by other companies who were trying to like pick me up maybe or getting the conversation started. So I got to Rampage, and I was super intimidated right away. I was like, this is nuts. Just standing on some of the drops, like I've never seen a jump that long in my life. And then knowing that some guys were talking about doing tricks over some of those features. And I was like, okay, I'm at Rampage. I have my own strengths. This is the kind of event anyone who's invited has the potential to win, because the chances of crashing are really high.
Yeah.
And I'm going to utilize my strengths, and I'm going to like pick a really gnarly natural gap. So I teamed up with Mitch Chubby, and we went to G. Atherton's Gap. I remember a few of the other like top riders that year that have even won or podiumed at Rampage before, seeing what we were building, walking by and kind of like shaking their heads at it, like, whoa, that's long, or that's really tech. And I was like, rather than being scared, I was like, perfect. I was like, this is like a line that, based on how Rampage is judged, if I can clean this top to bottom, the possibility of getting on the podium is not out of, like, it's possible. I can possibly do this. Like, I just have to make it to the bottom and not crash. So I think it was the day of qualifiers, and I'd rode a bunch of the course, and I was feeling really good. And Mitch and I were both terrified of hitting it. And I'm not the kind of person to like hesitate on something or look at it for too long. I'm like, I'll take 1 or 2 run-ins and just hit it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And we painted the line for the drop, so we knew exactly where to ride off. But I was terrified of going too far left because it was like a canyon on the left.
Yeah, true.
You had like a 5-6 foot wide landing, and then it was like a canyon to the left, a cliff edge to the right. So I'm like, I'm gonna hug the right a bit, so I'm kind of close to that cliff. And then my speed was good. I was coming into the landing, and then I was going a little fast probably, but the cliff edge was right there, and my pedal hit it. The second my pedal hit, I kind of blacked out with fear, and I was like flying through the air and like 20 feet off the ground still. But if you look at the video, the second my pedal hits the cliff, my front wheel drops like immediately.
Which is not what you want when you hit a jump.
And then I get tossed off the bike like a slingshot. And I'm so lucky I didn't land on my back or anything, because the impact was so heavy, man. Like, I just opened my body up as much as I could. And it, like, if you look at the footage, it looks like a slow motion front flip, like 20 feet down. The gap was long. It was like a 50-foot canyon gap. So I'm like already going really fast to get over the gap. I'm still pretty high off the ground. And I'm like slow front flip and then hit my leg on the ground below the landing. I didn't even slide down the landing. I went past the landing onto flat ground.
Yeah.
It's just brutal.
Yeah, you cleared it. You cleared it pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
And like when you have an experience like that, I mean, like let's say that the lip or the pedal doesn't catch on the jump, and so the bike doesn't come out from underneath you, and so the landing's a little bit different. Do you think that would have changed the trajectory of how you took riding and how you took your career within riding, or did it not change anything?
I mean, injuries like that, the biggest battle is the mind, not the body, right? Like, I still have a bit of pain in my leg based on how it healed, but I'm 100% full strength. I'm actually stronger than I was then. And I completely healed, but the mind took a lot to heal, right? Like, I signed down with Nolly Bikes in the first few months of healing, and I actually had a sat down for coffee with Ryan Bearcloth at the time. He was my team manager, and he's like, okay, if you're gonna get back to riding, what's your recovery timeline like? What's your mindset like? Are you gonna get back to it? And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna be riding again, but it's gonna take some time. And I remember sitting down with him and being motivated. But I remember the first team trip, there was this big road gap, and I didn't want to hit it. And it wasn't even that big compared to what I would ride now. But
really,
I was like feeling good on my bike, but I wasn't like comfortable taking risks yet. That took a while. But another thing that took a while was like the risk of actually pursuing mountain biking as a career. Like, I was a total scattered mess right after that happened. I was living in Whistler. So I moved back in with my parents for a few months, which is really hard when you're in your mid-20s and being pretty independent from a young age. Like, I just didn't want to be living back with them. And
totally.
Really great supportive parents, always supported mountain biking, but no entrepreneurial mindset at all. Like,
a little different.
Like, mom works in the newspaper, dad's a government worker, and like my dad's like throwing bank jobs at me and like possibilities of things I should be doing. And like, when I got here at Rampage, I wasn't even a full-time pro rider. Like, I was still working in Whistler, and getting free bikes. That was kind of it, right? So I was kind of like, what am I doing with my life? Kind of like, just like kind of confused and not sure what to do. So I honestly just kind of blocked out the noise and just focused on healing. Because I was like, I just need to get back to riding and like being able to properly walk again before I can even really be too hard on myself. So, and then after a few months of living with my parents, once I could walk again, I moved to Vancouver and moved in with Jeff Gulovich. I was like, I need to be living with another pro rider. I need that influence.
Who understands it.
Yeah,
it's like you surround yourself with that type of people.
I was like literally on a cane when I moved in with him. I was like, I could barely move myself out of this house, but I want to move now. And then Nolly gave me a bike, and it was my first time experiencing mountain biking just for fun. Like, I'd actually never like pedaled my bike up a mountain for fitness before until then. So like, it was my first time experiencing riding the North Shore Mountains, climbing and getting a cardio workout rather than just like going to session the dirt jumps or go ride downhill in the bike park.
Dude.
So it was like a completely different, I was like, wow, I kind of feel like a pussy. I feel like I'm not sending it. Like, I'm like not hitting jumps. I'm like just working, fitness. And I'm like, and I'm getting older because I'm like 26 at that point. So I'm like, is this the path I want to take? Like, I don't want to be known for like not doing gnarly stuff. Like, I still want to keep progressing my riding, doing tricks, being a really stylish rider. And I was just kind of trying to find my identity in the sport at that point.
So it's time for a game called Did You Dabble With It?
Okay.
I've got some subjects, topics, pastimes here, and some of them have some truth to them, and some of them are a complete shot in the dark.
Okay.
And so I'll say the subject, and then you say if you did indeed dabble with it.
Okay, sure.
Let's get started. Caribou beers.
Yes.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
No.
The Specialized Vegas Fat Boy BMX.
Yes.
LimeWire.
Yes. I forgot about LimeWire.
Yeah. Airport security drug searching your bike.
Yes.
Axe body spray.
Yes.
Velocity hucking systems.
Yes.
Duffin's Donuts in Vancouver.
Yes.
No kidding. Sum 41.
I mean, I listened to them. I never really liked them.
Yeah. That'd be a no then. Probably no dabble.
No.
Yeah. Vertigo mountain bike shop in Tasmania.
Yes.
Pink bike forums.
No.
No kidding. Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
Yeah. Food.
No.
French. Picnic. Ambidexterity.
Yes.
Getting kicked off of property while trail building.
Yes. More than once.
No kidding. Cryptocurrencies.
Yes.
IKEA furniture.
Yes.
Ping pong.
Yes.
We're getting a lot of yeses here. This is really good. It was only 50-50 of these we actually
really?
knew. Yeah. An alter ego by the name of Clark.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us as little or as much as you feel like telling us about
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So we that's so good. So when I got on NSMB in 2012, my first big team trip I ever gone on, which was super exciting for me, was to the interior. So we went up to Williams Lake and Kamloops and Spence's Bridge, like basically the whole Fraser Canyon, then up north to like the Choco River. And my friend Mason Machon, he kind of knew the area, so he kind of spearheaded that trip. Him and my friend Callum Jelly, who's the token Englishman, that's what we call him.
That's so funny.
So Mason, we started nicknaming him Jason, so we'd like switch our names up a bit. Whenever we have a few beers, our names would change, and then I became Clark instead of Mark. So like, he just like made it my alter ego. So after a few drinks, I became Clark instead of Mark, and we started this thing called Clark Life, which is like give no fucks kind of Clark Life, like. And then Jason was kind of the same, so it was like our alter egos throughout the whole trip. And then we even like made gang signs for different things. So we started like, we had one called Clark Life, which is like the C with like the middle finger for the L. So I would just like, so like whenever like Mason would want me to go up and hike something again to get a shot, I didn't want to do it. I'd just be like, no dude, Clark Life.
Clark Life it up.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So like, it was like that one trip, it kind of became a thing. But then like every time we've hung out again since, it's kind of been like our inside joke.
I've got a quote from you, Mark, and it's from your video, I Want You to Be Happy. You said, I'm not necessarily passionate about everything that I do, but sometimes you have to do things that you hate to get the freedom to do what you love every day.
Exactly, yeah.
And I just love that you're recognizing it's cool because we're not sugarcoating everything. It's like in order to live that life of freedom, it's not going to be a walk in the park all the time, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I'm kind of curious, like, what are some of your less than favorite things that you have to deal with to kind of do what you do on a daily basis?
Yeah. I mean, I've never liked school. I mean, I did okay in English class and gym class, but I've like never liked any of that sort of paperwork sort of stuff. And I've had to really get better at using computers to do the content creation, right? Like, I do everything 100% on my own. I mean, I'm at the point now where I could probably hire someone part-time to come and film me and document stuff, and I've been starting to explore that idea. But I mean, learning how to use Adobe Premiere Pro and Lightroom and Photoshop, and they're fun to use, but like, I just have to spend a lot of time reading tutorials, watching tutorial videos, learning. And like even yesterday, for example, like I woke up pretty early at like 5 in the morning and couldn't get back to sleep. So I just like went downstairs to my computer and I was editing a new video till 3 in the afternoon.
Wow.
Like I literally only got up to like eat food a few times, and I just was like edit, go. And then I really wanted to get it up and early enough to the day that would be like the ultimate time for people to view it.
Yeah.
I just like scheduled it to go out this morning, and it was a time-lapse video of all the time lapses we did from the Blueprint Trail. So it was a 30 minutes of time lapses that I had edited together.
Wow.
So that took me that many hours to do, and I put songs over it, I put quotes over it. I did it a little more production than I normally would, because I thought it would do well. And I mean, even if it doesn't do well, it's a piece I wanted to get out there. And I mean, content creation is so much of like, throw it out there and see if it performs well or not. You never really know, right? You could do 20 things that do poor and then one thing does well, but you have to put everything out there and you have to like pour hours into it. And I think that's what I mean by like, I kind of do things I hate to what you love. You need to put in those long hours of something you don't really love to do. And I mean, it's still great because I'm not working for a boss. It's my own choice, but you have to have that self-discipline. And if you can like unlock that self-discipline, you have all the freedom in the world. It's totally worth it.
Did you just watch YouTube videos to learn how to do everything?
Pretty much, yeah. Like I learn more through video than reading, for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
How much of trail building is artistic expression, and how much of it is like science or engineering?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of it is just groundwork and learning and like trial and error. But I do like the artistic side of it too, right? Like, I've always liked painting and artwork, and what I really like about dirt work more than anything, like a lot of my trail building is heavy in dirt work versus woodwork. What I really like about dirt work is you can shape up a jump, and then you try riding it, and if it doesn't work, you change it a bit more, and then you start playing around with the shapes and stuff, right? So one thing I like to build is a thing called shark fins. So it's like a corner that transitions into a jump, like the literal shape of a shark fin.
Right.
I like the art side of that, right? Like shaping up this big
Sharknado.
Triangle and like the Chill Sharknado. I called it that because I built those shark fins. But I love the idea of like how you can shape something up to look really cool, and there's kind of that art to it, right? Like if you want it to be really smooth and flowy, you have to like filter the rocks out of it and put like a nice layer of like clay on top, and then slide the shovel and get it really smooth, like you're building like a clay pot sort of thing. And like that's really fun. And there's also like the psychological piece of it, right? Like if a jump looks better, it rides better. I don't know what it is, but I've seen like
it's like an aesthetic thing.
Yeah, I've seen dirt jump spots all over the world where they do like really tall, steep angles on things and really stack the dirt up high, and they just look like these really artistic sculptures. And I mean, it just makes it more fun, right? When you're in the dirt all day, like shoveling dirt nonstop and it's just like brutal labor. I mean, if you can make it artistic and fun, it's all the better, right? So that's what I do like, that aspect of it.
If you were approached by, I'm kind of curious, like 'cause a lot of the trails that you've built are really like independent, and they're like for underground riding or like for the community and whatnot. So if you're ever approached by, let's say, Whistler or something, or like we want to collab on a trail with you or something, would you entertain something like that?
Maybe I would. I mean, I consider myself like a pro rider first and trail builder second. And like trail building's kind of fallen into my niche. It's become my niche kind of accidentally. Totally. Especially last year with COVID, I was like, I'm going to document what I do on the side. And then it became like the thing everyone wants to see now. And it made me realize like how knowledgeable of a trail builder I am because I've been doing it since I was a little kid. And
yeah.
like all these questions people have sent me that I thought were just common knowledge that actually aren't. So if someone like Whistler did approach me, it would be cool to be involved, but honestly, it's not something I really want to do.
Right.
Like I wouldn't really enjoy spending my summer building trails on Whistler. Like even with Blueprint, the trail we did for the community in Cumberland, like it really wasn't that fun because I wasn't building exactly what I wanted to.
No kidding.
I was building a trail for the community, which was rad. And like I was excited to ride it, but even riding the trail like 2 weeks after it's been open to public, like everything's been completely destroyed, like my work. Cause
really?
Just like thousands of intermediate to beginner riders skidding down a perfectly sculpted thing. It's gonna just get torn apart. It's like if you took someone's like clay sculpture after they built it and just like smashed it apart, and like the base shape is still there and it's still cool, but it's like I'm not gonna enjoy that for myself anymore.
Totally.
Like that trail I built, I'm not gonna go enjoy for myself anymore because like honestly, I'm probably gonna barely ride it now. I might go and help maintain it on trail days,
right? Just
to like keep it in good shape because our name's behind it. We want it to be good, and even when it's at its worst, I get comments from people being like, "Wow, this is amazing." So that's fulfilling, but I mean, I kind of like the idea of like private trails more, just for like the fact that I can like selfishly have them really awesome for myself. I still want to do community projects, and I like the idea of being involved with the United Riders of Cumberland in the future and doing more trails for them. For like fun projects too. I like that whole community aspect.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like make it a full-time job where I'm going out and building trails and bike parks. It's just like such a huge, it's so labor intensive and it's so time consuming. It's a pretty wild thing.
It's a lot of work in the beginning, and then
totally.
There's way more maintenance to it than I guess a lot of people realize.
There is, yeah. Like somewhere like Whistler Bike Park, they would have a trail crew working on it every single week.
Yeah.
And it would always stay awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
What if they were like, we can get you to design it, but we'll take care of like the building part?
I mean, ultimately that would be kind of the dream, is consulting.
Yeah. Like
going in, helping pick a line, maybe spending a week or two actually working hard on ground, and then going off and doing something else. Like that would be really awesome to get to that level. Like I would do more jobs like that for sure. Yeah.
All right, so it's the moment that we've all been waiting for, Mark. We've got 2 control columns for a reason. So mine's connected to yours, so I'm here to help you out at any point. Do you want to fly a little bit?
Sure.
Sweet, man. So basically, we want to not go into these clouds, and we'll fly straight, and then we'll start doing some turns. So you can put your hands on the controls.
Whoa, that's really touchy.
How do you like that?
Yeah. And then side to side the turning, or?
Yeah. So let's try a little turn to the left here. So you can look out to the left and see if there's any traffic.
Okay.
Don't see any. You can start a turn to the left.
It's a lot more touchy than I would expect it to be.
Right?
Yeah. Like you barely have to move it.
And then you can roll those wings level. And then let's look to the right for traffic. Do you see anything?
Nope.
Alrighty. Crank a right-hand turn there. So the nose is coming up a little, so you can just look straight out, and that'll make it normalize a bit more.
Okay.
Dude, this is an awesome turn. You're crushing it.
I feel like I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, how's this feel compared to how hard you thought it would be?
I honestly didn't know what it would feel like, but I thought the controls would be like require you to like really manhandle it more. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like super sensitive, which is cool.
Then turn to the left.
It's cool. Like just right over the top of this little glacier here.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, we live in a pretty nice part of the world.
Perfect, man. Well, that's it. We're getting close to our destination, and the seatbelt sign is on for landing. So, Mark, we'll turn the spotlight over to you to take us home. Tell the world anything that you want to tell them, and let them know how to find you.
Yeah. So my handle is just @MarkyMath, MarkyMath. And then I have my YouTube, which is Mark Matthews MTB. So it's my name with MTB at the end for mountain biking. And yeah, those are probably the 2 platforms I'm the most active on. You can also find me on like TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, all the same.
Thanks so much for joining us on the flight deck today, man. You're doing
man.
an amazing job of flying the airplane.
No,
nice
I'll get us home, don't worry.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. You know exactly what to do. Fasten your seatbelts and subscribe for more.